So yeah, one thing I really wanted to ask from you is something that I've never really asked, and I didn't ever really consider until later in life, that you're kind of African descent, but it's not massively evident. If I'm completely honest, I didn't actually acknowledge or find this out until you renamed yourself Maya Kanye Ramses Francis.
Stop it. I have a massive obsession with Kanye West, just to let you know.
And I remember, so the Kanye reference I got, and then Ramses was like, isn't that like an Egyptian pharaoh or something?
Yeah.
And then I found out from that you have like Egyptian in you.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Do you know what? It's funny because only the other day I was thinking, because funnily enough, I suppose we're going into a negative about Oxford. I find that growing up in Oxford gave me sort of like an identity crisis, and even still to this day, I suppose I struggle with it because of the fact that obviously growing up in Oxford is known to be the white city in a weird way.
Yeah.
So automatically people would just see me as a white person.
Yeah.
Which is understandable, you know. I'm light skinned, but I never, to this day, identified myself as a white person, or a black person, or an Asian person. I just classed myself as myself, really. Because to me, when it comes to the colour of skin, no skin colour or skin tone is the same as anybody else's. So your skin tone is no...
it's not even the same as mum and dad's.
So, but even if, you know, you sat next to somebody who was the same skin tone as you, yours is still unique to yourself. And that's, and growing up in Oxford, I would think so deep. And I think, whether it's Oxford or if it's myself, to be honest with you, in a way gave me an identity crisis, I call it, because I didn't know what category or what box I had to fit in. And so I almost had to find it out for myself.
Did this all start in Oxford?
No, absolutely. Because I would always hang around with like so many different types of people in school. It's not one of those things where it was just like, oh, I'm going to hang out with the black people, I'm going to hang out with the white people. I never saw it like that. There's some people I suppose do, but I never saw it like that. And I remember being at Oxford Community School. And I remember one day we went to the park after school. And I can't remember who we were with, but I do remember I was with Michelle, and some people came over and they kept saying, "Why are you trying to be black?" to me. And I was just like, and from then on I was just like, wow, one, I've never been told that before or said that to me before.
But I remember
it was, I can't remember who it was that said it to me. I probably don't even know them, but they were just some randomers, and they just like, why? And I think it was because I was hanging around with Michelle, and I think Awais was there, and I think you were there actually, Shelley Park. We went after school one day, and so being said that to me, I was just like so taken back by it. And it's little things like that that you carry with you throughout your life, and I just wonder, to whoever it is that said that to me, what made them feel to say that to me.
It's kind of, I feel it's ironic. So just for reference as well, so we obviously ended up at high school together, at Oxford School.
We reunited.
Reunited, exactly, which is in like the heart of Cowley, which is one of the most diverse places in Oxford.
Absolutely.
Which is a diverse place in itself.
Absolutely.
So
one of the most.
Yeah, for sure. And I remember, I kind of find it ironic that someone from that same environment would ask you that question, because like you just said, you're in such an environment that you don't even have the opportunity to question if, you know, like people's kind of difference because of their skin tone. Like you almost like genuinely do not realise or do not care.
Exactly. And and in a way, I suppose the positive that comes out of that is that I was the kind of person that saw completely past skin tone or skin colour or where you're from. I completely see past it, I see through it. But it's almost as I've got older, I obsess over who the hell I am. Who am I? Like, I don't know I don't know what box I should fit in, and I hate the whole ticking box kind of thing. because when it comes to forms and stuff, it's just like, well, I'm not that, I'm not this, I'm definitely not that, so we'll just go mixed other.
I normally put something like wrong on purpose, but I've kind of learned why that's a bad idea now. Like I'll just look at it and put like, I'm going to say Chinese, just for bands. But I've kind of realised why that's a bad idea. Though that's a completely different conversation, but I kind of, it's really frustrating, but I get why they use them, but...
Especially in today's age, I get why it's used but at the same time, especially I think back then, it's just like, it's setting you up to, well, for me anyway, it's certainly setting me up to be confused for the rest of my life. And still at the age of 27, I'm just like, who am I? You know, in a sense of, yes, I'm of African descent. That's great. I'm half Egyptian. Cool. My mum's British. She's English. Fine. And I know that, and that's fine. But I have this. It's as if I need to, or should have just like a placard on the top of my head to tell people this. And you know what? I remember at Oxford Community School, I was having counselling once, and do you remember? I can't even remember his name now. It's really bad. But the Lenny Henry, the tall guy that sometimes did basketball. He was a basketball coach.
Oh
yeah. He was a counsellor as well. I completely forget his name.
Oh, what was his name? And
we all called him Lenny
Henry. Deep voice.
Yeah, we all called him Lenny Henry because he was just so funny.
He broke my finger once.
Did he? That doesn't surprise me. He's a tall dude.
Not because he like attacked me, he didn't abuse me, but it was like part of this basketball thing. We'd have to sit against the wall, and he would like watch everyone. And if you're not paying attention, he'll throw the ball at you really fast. And obviously, I wasn't paying attention, so he threw the ball at me. I was like, whoa, and it just whacked me in the finger and broke it. Or just whacked the mic.
But yeah, and I remember I was having a session with him once, and he sat down, and this was really, again, it's obviously a momentous moment in my life because I still to this day remember it. He sat me down and he said, Maya, you look like you've got a mixture of something in you. Where are you from? Like, are you know? I was like, yeah, I'm half Egyptian. He was like, yeah, I can see it in you. And I was just like, for a black man to say that to me, it was so, there was a lot of comfort and warmth from it. For somebody to see something in me that, in a way, seeing past my skin tone in a way, but seeing actually it goes deeper and further than that. And to me, still to this day, again, age 27, I will never ever forget it because for me that was a really warming moment in my life, I think. And I think he obviously got that because I was just so shocked that someone actually saw something past me being light-skinned. I'm just like, wow, you know. And there's something so beautiful about it, and so that's why I say, you know, it's not everybody thinks that way, or, you know, I know so many people that just wouldn't have a clue if someone seemed or looked or had an inkling of that they're maybe of mixed heritage or whatever. But I see it, you know. I go further. I don't just take it for face value of what someone looks like, you know, or you ask a question or, you know, spark conversation, you know. And it's one of those things where actually it matters because for that person, so for like me, for example, for that person to be seen past how they, you know, the front of you looks like, it means a lot because it's just like, well, you're not naive almost, in a way educated, I suppose. Like, I don't know, I'm waffling on, but
it's interesting. Kind of going back to, I know exactly what you mean when someone of colour asks you, oh, what's your kind of heritage? It's kind of comforting because there's almost like a acknowledgement that
acknowledgement, exactly.
We're both kind of like different. That's how we kind of, you know, we're from a similar perspective. But I always find it really interesting because if like, say, white British person was to ask me the same, I wouldn't feel comforted at all. I would feel otherised. Like sometimes people say to me, like, and I really want to get out of this like way of thinking, but there's been times where a white person has asked me where I'm from, and I've been like, Oxford.
Yeah.
Like, stop trying to prove I'm different. I'm British.
Yeah.
But then if a black person asks me where I'm from, I'll be like, oh yeah, my family in Jamaica.
Yeah.
And I wonder why. I really wonder why I do that. It's kind of like a fear of being otherized.
Yeah.
But from the other hand, it's like an acknowledgement that we're the same. Do you feel the same? Or?
Yeah, I mean, the funny thing, right? When anybody asks me where I'm from, I automatically think, oh, are you, like, not in terms of being half Egyptian or anything, I automatically think, okay, where was I born?
Yeah.
And every time someone asks me, or even if we're in conversation and I'm like, I used to live in Oxford, but I'm not posh, I'd always have to get that in. So
interesting, yeah.
I'd always have to get it in. I even said it just the other day. I was talking to somebody and I was like, I grew up in Oxford, but I'm not posh. I'm not posh.
Yeah.
And everybody laughs because it's that perception that if you're from Oxford, you are automatically posh and privileged.
Mad,
and it's just like, no, you're not.
100%
you're not. And then it goes on. I go on to the topic of what Oxford's like, in a sense that there is such a divide in Oxford, almost like segregation of Oxford, in that you've got like Blackbird Leys, and then you've got Cowley, which is me. So you've got Cowley, Blackbird Leys here, then Cowley, then you're going into town nearly. And it's literally 10 minutes from the middle of Oxford, which is, I suppose, East Oxford.
Yeah.
Then you're 10 minutes down the road, so like where I live, 10 minutes down the road.
All the way along the Cowley Road, essentially,
into Oxford, where all the universities are. But then 10 minutes this way, you're in Blackbird Leys. But 10 minutes that way, you're in the centre of Oxford, and then you've got North Oxford. And you can see how much of a divide Oxford becomes just by... So if you go from one end start from Blackbird Leys, and you're going through...
Past Cowley Centre,
you see such a change within minutes. You see such a change in the kinds of people that are around and what the buildings look like and how much they take care of this area compared to that area, etc., etc. And it's really interesting. And I always feel that I've got to explain that story. And when I do explain that story, people are like, what?
Yeah.
I thought it was a beautiful place. And I'm like, yeah, it is a beautiful place.
Yeah.
But never get it twisted in the sense of that it's not what it's like in the movies. It's not what it's like on the TV, like Dr. Foster or whatever. Or, not Dr. Foster. What's it called?
I know exactly. Inspector Morse.
Yeah, Inspector Morse.
Is it Inspector Morse?
I think so.
Yeah,
I think
that's
so.
the one.
Yeah. That's bad.
It's
we should
interesting.
know.
I had this conversation last night actually. I was chatting to this girl who's like from London, born and raised. So I tend to feel, especially in London, there's like kind of ignorant or naive concept of the rest of the UK. But I said again, I'm from Oxford, and she went, ooh. And I was like, no, not like that. And then I had to explain, like you just did, like there's like the biggest council estate in Europe was Blackburn Leys at one point.
Twinned with Brooklyn in America.
Exactly, and on top of that, I reeled off loads of stats, like, although from the outside looking in, it may seem like it's all about the universities. The population of the university makes up only about 20% of the population of Oxford. Furthermore, you may think everyone's white and British, but it's the third most ethnically diverse place in the South East. 28% of people in Oxford are from outside of the UK.
Absolutely,
and it's a shame that we always have to explain this. I feel like these are such big stats that it should be evident in what's portrayed of Oxford.
It's so strange, it's so bizarre, and I think a lot of it comes literally from, it's all because of the university, granted, but over the years, especially now that I've moved out from Oxford, going back to Oxford, even I went back to Oxford a couple of weeks ago for my birthday and met my mum in town. She was finishing work, and I was just like, the amount of homelessness in Oxford now, what the hell? What is going on? I've literally, I think in the space of a year and a half. So I moved to London 2 years ago now, but or just over two years, the amount of change I've seen, and I don't know if it's because, you know, I've moved out and now, you know, when I come back in, I'm noticing things more, but everybody says it now, even my mum, she's like, the homelessness in Oxford now, it's so sad because there's a place on Iffley Road, for example, and there was a massive petition about it. I saw it on the news. On the Iffley Road, there was this building that used to be a car garage, and
I was born near there.
And it's been knocked down, and there was a massive petition because Volkswagen, that's it. Yeah. And a lot of homeless people would flock there, and I think some people would live like
squatting.
Yeah, squatting or whatever in the places above, in the rooms above, and they knocked it down, and I think they had something there for homeless people. In fact, I could be completely wrong, but anyway, and it's knocked down to build more accommodation for those who go to Oxford University, and I'm just like,
priorities.
Come on, mate! Seriously, it's just like, and the amount of homeless people I am seeing on the street now. Sorry, this is really negative.
No, it's fine.
But the amount of homeless people I'm seeing, it's phenomenal. And the funny thing is when I met my mum, she was like, it was perfect. She was like, because there's these new signs now, these electric signs in the middle of the street that tells you which bus departs from where and how many minutes it comes now, which I didn't see when I last went to Oxford.
The transport's like improved a hell of a lot.
But and then she was like, they can put those up, but they still can't fix the pavement. So I actually nearly tripped up because I was just like, wow, these pavements, and it's just really interesting. It's like Oxford has to give this fake, almost fake mask to make it look like we are prim and proper and we're this and we're that. And we're going to shunt everything out, you know, anything else that's different from that away and tuck it away.
I think it's really interesting because it proves that it's not just like people's perception, it's actually what's presented to them that creates this perception. Like, and it shows that even the government and the people who can make a change in the community are prioritising the wrong things and trying to save face and put on a front as such.
Absolutely.
As we both know, there are people. I think I saw another stat recently saying that I think 20% or 1 in 4 or 1 in 5 something children live below the poverty line in Oxford. And that's just completely like masked by like nice transport and like flashy bus stop signs and
different coloured buses as well. Pink, blue, red.
And I think that's the reason. This is like one of the most important reasons why I wanted to do something like this, like do a podcast, because I feel our voices and the people who see Oxford for what it really is just like
absolutely
not massively visible.